Hey party people, I'm Captain Zeus and welcome back to BP Fun. In today's video, I'm going to be doing another review for episode 6 of the HBO DC series, The Penguin. Now, I will be going into some details about the episode, so spoiler warning ahead for those of you that have not seen the episode just yet. And if you like these reviews, please like the video, share the video, subscribe, let us know in the comments below your thoughts on this episode and this series as a whole. Now, I will say, this episode started off kind of spicy. We noticed the Hangman's a little bit of a freak. She likes to tie men up. She's getting real freaky with her mans, and she's clearly, she's getting attached to him, and you could tell in that scene. But the big important part after that is really her little, I don't know if it's like a heart-to-heart or a semi-heart-to-heart with Sal Maroni, but, he's cooking up some foods that his wife taught him, and she's there just enjoying it, enjoying the vibes, and they kind of come to the realization that, we should probably get something close to hurting, the Oz. But I kind of like that scene for the fact that there wasn't any scheming involved, especially with these two powerhouses in the gang underworld. There was no scheming, no underhanding activities, no poisoning of the foods or wine or anything. It was just like they're eating dinner. And it's not like they like each other per se, but they've grown content with each other's presence. So I don't know. I just really liked that scene. I know it's probably like more of a hot take. Some people might not care for it, but I thought that scene was really good. Like, it was just a really good scene. Most of this episode, we just see Oz expanding the shroom business, if you will, Bliss. And you can already tell that we have a little bit of a time jump. I'm assuming it's been like a week or two since the last episode because it's already snowing. The underground trolley station, the underground railroad, it's back in working order more or less. There's a lot of people there, a lot more power. They have their own regular routine. And we see Vic kind of coming into his own in this episode. He's become pretty much accustomed to how everything's ran. He's really gotten the hang of just doing things on his own. He does have a confrontation with Squeebs, I think the dude's name is, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Another really important part of this episode is Oz and his mother, like their relationship and her condition. You see Oz talking about the fact that the doctors don't know what this is. They thought it was Alzheimer's, they thought it was Parkinson's, but it's something else, they don't know. And you see her slowly losing her mind due to this dementia that she has. And, it's really tragic to see, especially for a character who isn't like a complete piece of crap. It is actually like a really good, for the most part that we are aware of, is a good mom to Oz. And she cares about him, he cares about her. And heck, she's even grown attached to Vic, and he's grown attached to her. Like, she's got that aura about her, and you see her slowly losing herself. She's getting hurt more. She's falling. She was in the tub for like all night, which that's dangerous. She could have got like hypothermia or something. And then she has that moment with Oz where she's like, dude, if my mind goes before my body does, I need you to finish the job. I need you to kill me. And that's like such a hard thing for anyone in a close relationship, right? To ask the other to kill them when the time is right, especially for a parent to ask their child. I think that's even more of a tough thing to ask because, typically, right, you would imagine that the children, they look up to the parents, they are attached to them, like that's their protection, that's their safeguard against the world, that is their compass. And for you to tell them to destroy that, in a sense, it's a hard thing, especially with Oz being so attached to his mom. He cares so much about her, he loves her. He does end up saying, yeah, I'll do it, but I honestly don't think he's gonna be able to pull the plug, so to speak, when the time comes. I think maybe Vic might step up to do it. I don't know. I also have I have a hunch that she's gonna get captured, and while she's being held hostage, she just ends it. Like, she just, whether it's a knife to her throat or a gun to her head, she initiates them slicing or pulling the trigger, and she kills herself. And that's what's gonna start a chain reaction. I feel like that's what's going to happen soon, especially with the fact that Sophia found out where Oz lives. And we'll get to that in a second. Now, I think this episode also had to do a lot more about the relationships with people, because we do get to see Sophia finds out about Eve. And she goes to where Eve is. Eve is somewhat prepared to die. She expected this to happen. Now, granted, I think she should have just left with Oz or just moved to a different, place. I don't know. But she kind of just like left herself vulnerable in that situation, especially because she has her own drawer at Oz's place, which I didn't see coming. But Sophia is talking to Eve, and I thought this scene was a little weird because Eve is like, "You're the hangman, you killed those girls," and Sophia's like, "No, that was my dad." And Eve just believes her. Like, yeah, Oz is a liar for sure, but who's to say that Sophia isn't a liar? I mean, she was in Arkham. You know, whether or not she was supposed to be there is kind of irrelevant. She survived Arkham, so she's not exactly sane at this point. I don't think anyone would be after being in Arkham. So it was kind of a weird moment where she believed Sophia so wholeheartedly and then just gave up Oz after Sophia didn't kill her, which I kind of was hoping Sophia would do that to really, like, keep pushing Oz towards the edge of just, I'm gonna moita yous. But I don't know, I just didn't like that scene for the fact that she just believed Sophia without a question. And it's weird that Eve knew that Oz was a liar and, you know, he's a narcissist, but she still believed what he said. You know, I don't know, I just thought that was weird. It made me question the validity of their relationship at all, because she was like, "You're the only one for me." Like, she was telling him all that stuff, which makes me think that all that was a lie. I don't know. Probably. But it was just a weird scene to kind of push Sophia to finding Oz, which this whole episode, she's just been like getting one step closer. And while that's happening, Oz really like steps up for the poor community, essentially. The ones that were affected the most by the Riddler's actions, he stepped up. This man went to, what was it, some council member and essentially threatened / demanded both that he get the power back on in Crown Point and in those poor areas, because there's people freezing, especially because it's getting towards winter. Like, they are freezing. People are probably going to be dying because of this. You need to get power over there ASAP. And then while after that happens, he's over here getting all of the other, you know, gang members together or gang leaders together. He's like, "Yo, everyone, look at the rich people. They're all scum. They got power. We got nothing." Even Sal and Sophia, who are a part of the old way, the old guard, they are still in that area where they have power. They have those big fancy mansions. And what do we have? We have this crap. It was a really heavy hitting segment where he's kind of letting everybody know, hey, we're trash to these people, and us trash needs to stick together to become Trash Voltron. Or that's not what he was saying. But anyway, I liked the scene a lot. His speech was really good. Honestly, I was pretty captivated with his speech, especially because he just got really real with it. And it's not like he didn't lie about any of it, which came to a surprise at the Triad leader, because Oz is a betrayer. He's backstabbed people. He's lied. But then again, he's also had to do that to survive. It's not like he wants to do this to people, like out of want, if that makes sense. Like, he has to survive. I mean, especially with the fact that the Triad leader called him the Penguin, and he hates being called the Penguin. We've seen what happens when anyone calls him the Penguin. He's either killed them, or he's done beat the crap out of them. He does not like to be called that. So I felt that Triad leader, he's going to be gone pretty soon. And I also have a feeling that what's going to happen eventually, probably at the end of the series, if not closer towards it, is the young generation is going to overtake the new. Because when Oz is giving this speech, Oz, obviously speaking to everyone there, but the young ones, the number twos, if you will, they're all looking at each other, right? The camera pans to them consistently. And you can tell that this was targeted not towards the current leaders, but to the next leaders. And I felt like if they weren't going to agree right there, the kids were going to kill the leaders, and they were going to be the new leaders. I thought that's what was going to happen for sure, especially with the Triad leader. But I still think that's going to happen in this series at the end, at least, is the old leaders are going to die or be replaced, and the new generation is going to come into their own under Oz. And I feel like that was the tease, is what this scene was. Well, obviously it was Oz gathering the troops, right? But it was also a tease that times are changing, and the next gen is going to step up pretty soon here. As we get closer to the end, Vic has such a huge character development moment. And it's not in the way that you think, because he's confronting Squibs, whatever, the squid, man, Squidward. He's still afraid of him. Like, he still has that fear from when he was, you can't even say younger, from probably a few months ago, when they used to know each other prior to the events of the Batman. For good reason. Like, you could tell this guy has a lot of power. He's got a lot of people behind him, and he's bullied Vic for a long while. So Vic probably has some semi-trauma from that. And this guy is just like, yo, I want in or I'm gonna kill you. That's it, plain and simple. And Vic, he reluctantly agrees. He tries to pay him off, which I thought the Squeebs was gonna be like, all right, So you're going to give me more each week than what you're giving me now. Like, he was going to try to extort Vic. But no, he just threw it in his face. He's like, dog, either you take me to Oz or I'm gonna go snitch. And I'm like, why would you tell that to someone who's working with Oz? That's a terrible thing to do. And Vic does something that I was hoping he would do, but it was still unexpected to see. He shot Squeebs and killed him. That was such a good scene for the fact that it was a turning point in Vic's character from no longer being the innocent, young, naive Vic to becoming more of the street smart right-hand man of the Penguin Vic. I felt that's what that scene was. It also comes into its own because Vic is like, he's phased by it. A lot of times you see in shows and movies where someone does their first kill, they're unfazed, right? No, dude, Vic is like, I mean, taking a life is such a, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be an easy thing to do, and it's clearly not for him. He goes over to Oz, and instead of a cold-hearted boss who doesn't care about his troops, Oz, who's really grown attached to Vic since day one, really, he hugs him, which I thought was a surprise. I did not think he was gonna hug him. He hugs Vic and lets him know it's gonna be all right. Like, things will get easier. He's like, take the day off, get rid of your clothes, you go rest up, tomorrow we're gonna start anew. And I thought that was like such a good moment because Vic isn't the lovey-dovey type. He knows where Vic's been because he's been there. And so it was such a good father figure-esque moment, you know, for Oz to like step up for Vic there. And I think Vic going home and spending time with Oz's mother definitely helped there because I think Oz's mom helps Vic. I don't know, maybe keep on track, kind of the same way that it helps Oz. But we do find out at the end of the episode, Sophia is there. As soon as the power gets on, Sophia enters the home and she finds out Oz's mom is alive. She's not dead. And I think it's even more tragic because she sees that and she's reminded, from what I can tell at least, she's reminded of her mom. So I think Sophia is going to be in a very tense situation in the next episode where she's going to have Vic and Sophia, or Vic and Oz's mom, hostages, kind of, but she's not going to be very threatening about it because she doesn't want to hurt Oz's mom because maybe she sees her mom in her, or she sees the dementia and her losing herself, and she doesn't want to put her in that situation. Now, she's probably not going to be very kind to Vic, but I can definitely tell when Oz gets home or when Oz finds out, things are going to get out of control very quickly. But nevertheless, I would probably rate this episode a solid 7.5 out of 10. I may be an 8, but I'm going to stick with a 7.5. I really enjoyed this episode. Much like the last one, there was a lot of development with the characters and a lot of important building towards the climax of what we're going to be getting in this series. I don't know how many episodes are left, but I'm excited. I honestly can't wait for the next one. The show is so freaking good. I can rewatch it over and over and not get bored of it, but I loved this episode for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, I had some questions about like Eve's motives and some of the other things, but overall, really enjoyed it. But what did you guys think? Please let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this episode of The Penguin. I'm Captain Zeus, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.